Our medical department starts at 7 a.m. and runs until 11 a.m. And the main activity for these guys is to clean all of these kennels. Cats need to come out. They will go into their carrier that has been marked with their name, and then all of the linens, the bedding, the toys, the litter box, the food, the water, all needs to be changed out so that it's fresh and clean for the day. Sometimes we get really vicious cats like little Sprong here. This is going to be hard. You really have to be comfortable handling cats in this environment, especially in the medical department, because some of these guys are really nervous in here. Sprong was a nice easy one this morning. Once the cat's out, we're gonna keep the wet food and we're gonna keep this bowl of dry food. We check it to make sure that there's no litter or poop or pee in there, because sometimes these kittens can get a little bit messy. These look good, so we're actually gonna hold on to them, and they'll sit right on top of the carrier while we finish cleaning. We're gonna remove the water dish and the old wet food dish from last night. Once those are out, we've got our soft toy and our hard toy. She's gonna get new ones for today. Everything that comes out of the kennel is gonna go into our camouflage bag here. So we wanna bring this over to the kennel. We're gonna shake it out so that there's no litter or poop in there that our utility room has to deal with, and it goes into the bag. Same thing with our flatbed. And then in the bottom here is our cage liner blanket. We're gonna shake it out. All that litter's coming with us. And into the bag. After we've got our linens out, the last thing is our litter box. We do want to do a visual inspection and make sure that we don't have sick kitty in here that we need to talk to anybody about. These look good, so I'm gonna make a note. They look like about a number 2 on our chart here. So I'm gonna make a note of that, and I'm gonna write it on the kennel card after I get to that point. But this can now be dumped. Into our litter bag. We've got some stickies there. Paint scraper. We want to make sure that these are as clean as we can get them for our volunteers that are out there scrubbing these. This is going to get set to the side. And the next step is to sweep out the kennel. We want to get everything out of there so that it's nice and clean for our spray down. I usually start along the front edge to make sure that nothing's going to come out. And then around the corners. Back to front. Bring it all to the middle just like you'd be sweeping up the floor. Once we've got our kennel all cleared out, all the debris, all the litter, anything else that would get in the way, it's time to spray with our disinfectant. This is called Rescue. It is a hydrogen peroxide and soap base that's been diluted down, and it sterilizes these kennels in about 1.5 minutes. We're gonna spray every surface in here. Be generous. Top, bottom, and sides. While that sits for a moment, we're going to fill out our kennel card. This is one of the most important tasks of kennel cleaning. If there's anything wrong with these cats or there's something that needs to be checked on, our medical team is going to come refer to this card, and we're going to see whose initials are on there for the morning. The first question is, did the cat eat the dry food? The answer to that one is yes. So we're going to put a little plus mark. Our food intake on the wet food? Yes, Sprong did that. Was there urine in the litter box? Yes. And then was there fecal in the litter box? That's another yes. And our score on this one was about a 2. So I'm gonna mark that there. And then all the way at the bottom, I'm going to put my initials. So our kennel right now is soaking in disinfectant and sanitizer. Our kennel card's filled out. Next step's pretty easy. We've got our pile of towels here. We're going to pick one up. I like a little bit bigger towel because I spray a lot of rescue. We'll save that one for the kennel, the carrier. When we get in here, you'll see why I sprayed so much rescue. I start at the top, and I'm going to reach all the way back and make sure that there's no soapy bubbles or residue sticking to this. Then I'm going to come down the sides from the top to the bottom. And then I'm going to climb in there and get the back. Come down the other side again from top to bottom. And that leaves the bottom of the kennel. Sometimes if a cat's made a particularly big mess in here, you might need to do this a couple times. That's the nature of medical. But for the most part, they keep it pretty clean for us. Now the most important thing once we're done, my towel here is very wet. And I did that on purpose because we still have 2 more sides to wipe down. This isn't just a 6-sided kennel, it's a 7-sided kennel. You want to go along the inside edges here, along the grate, wipe down the food rings and the water rings. And then I like to go along the outside edge of the door. And our 7th side is actually going to be the outer edges of the grates. This is the part that people walk by and touch because we have to open the kennels to take care of the cats. We don't want to forget to wipe these down. And then I always like to come down the handle as well. All done, into our camo bag. Now we are ready to get it all set back up and for Sprong to go back home. Our setups down here are done the night before by our medical staff so that they're ready. We're going to peel the first layer off, which is going to be our kennel liner. It gets spread out, and then our soft bed and our flat bed or flat blanket is going to go in the back left corner. Now Sprong here doesn't have any notes about what kind of litter box they get here, so that default is going to be a clay litter box. We've got a couple different ones here. This is pellet, this is clay. The pellet is used when the kittens are getting spayed and neutered so that it doesn't stick to their incisions, and then they'll transition back to the clay litter. Whatever Sprong's got going on back here, we're still on clay litter for now. It goes in the back right corner. And then our ever important hard toy, soft toy. Once we've got that, our food's ready to go back in before we get Sprong back. We pulled a couple of bowls out here a little bit earlier, so I just need to get them filled. First with fresh water. And then looking at the kennel card, the color of the paper tells me that Sprong is still on kitten food. So we're going to come over here and get our kitten food. We're going to fill it about halfway because we also need to still top it off with the little bit of food that Sprong had left. We don't want this overflowing over the top. We're not piling it high, just enough for Sprong to get it for the day. And these are going to go in our kennel. food on this side, water on the other. Sprung has one more dish, which is the wet food that we put there earlier. And now the hard part, getting the cat back in the kennel. Come on, kitty. Oh, I know. All right, you ready to go? You're purring. That is just horrible. There you go, baby. Our last step of this process is going to be cleaning out the carrier. We want to make sure that cat didn't get sick in there. That happens sometimes, but not too often. We're going to give it little sprays. This is where I like to use the smaller towels. The cat's not going to go back in this for a little while, but we don't want all of this liquid just sitting in there. So we're going to kind of rub it around to wipe some of it up. This is the same disinfectant that we used in the kennel. We're going to wipe the inside well. We're going to wipe the outside well. And then close it up and stack it away. This has been a quick little demonstration on what we do, part of what we do in the morning with the volunteers. Of course, we have signage everywhere. We've got setup pictures. We've got everything that you need to know along these walls, and we've got hands-on training that's involved. If this is something that you're interested in, we really need help with this one, and it's really one of the most important tasks in the shelter because it starts the day. From 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., these kennels need to be done so that our volunteers that are cleaning litter boxes from 8:30 to 10:30 can stay on schedule, so that the medical department doesn't have to be out there later, because then that could put off afternoon feedings. So this is really a critical role in the shelter, and it's one of the most important things that we have to do every day. We hope you'll join us.